The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ. And Commander Coogan.
I hope our audio. Yeah, I hope our audio is better than the intro because it broke up a lot. So.
Oh no, it didn't break up at all on my end. I've got great audio from you. Total confirmed cases as of Saturday was 115,850 cases with 109 new cases. Total deaths is 8,690 with an increase of 20 new deaths. For Fall River, these numbers are from Friday. That's 1,878 cases, which means we had 2 new cases, and we remain at 120 fatalities. The city no longer, I believe I said this last week, the city no longer provides counts over the weekend. And this weekend on Sunday, the state did not issue a report because they were in a system upgrade process. So they kind of left us with Saturday's numbers. They say that Monday's report will come out and we'll have all the numbers necessary. So it should be a huge uptick for, well, I shouldn't say huge uptick, but a larger uptick of cases and deaths today when the report comes out. So it'll make for an interesting time. Hey, did you know the mayor met with Will Flanagan on the air last week?
I heard, and before you do, let me just quickly, because we try to keep people on the COVID. I'm not sure if you're aware. I just saw something on television, and not more than 15 minutes ago, that some testing facility in New Jersey had an extremely high rate of false positives, and that affected 3 NFL teams. So as we talk about these positives in these cases, we continue to have this cloud hanging over about the reliability of these tests. So as we said, don't put, we're not taking these things as gospel either. So the thing is, just protect yourself by keeping your distance and wearing a mask. So that's
definitely. And as a matter of fact, because of the increase in cases, the governor issued a new order restricting even further the number of people who can congregate. Attention, Mr. Mayor. Attention, Mr. Mayor. So
don't worry,
it's now down even further. So, I think the mayor needs to reevaluate his drive-in. It's not that important, Mr. Mayor, especially when the governor just cut the counts again. Guess what, though? He's the mayor, and nobody's going to tell him what to do. Nobody. So
yeah, well, and the people who he goes to tell him what to do don't know anything. As you said, what a brain trust. He's going to a mayor who was thrown out of office because of his incompetency. He's listening to a mayor, and I heard, and one thing about Will Flanagan, you gotta love him. He is the gift that just keeps on giving. Every time I think about the recall, and people say, I wish we had Will again, and I tell them, no, there was a reason why people threw him out of office. He was an incompetent, and he shows it again. I believe he has memory issues because if you remember correctly, on his show he said he went to the GIC.
He said he should have gone to the GIC.
No, but before he said he had gone.
Oh, yes, I do remember that, yes.
He should have gone to the GIC, which shows again, he was clueless. Just like he sat in an office that had its windows replaced, and he didn't know they were being replaced. He said he should have went to the GIC to get saved $9 million. Well, former Mayor Will Flanagan, and this was sent to every city councilor, and you have a copy of the package. In 2012, when we went to the plan we had, you saved $8.94 million, which is just about $9 million. You saved the same amount by going to the plan. So again, propaganda, manipulation of fact, just like they're going to say this is a savings. But he made a very telling statement. I want everybody out there, because this is why we have to get rid of these people. They have no regard for the taxpayer. They're increasing all your fees, max 2.5. And you said that in a weekend flush, by the way. You did a good job on it. And you reminded people again. But they have a total insensitivity to the damage they do to people. Will Flanagan said, well, you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Well, if what you got to do is destroying people's lives and stealing money from the taxpayer, you're not doing your job. That's not what you have to do. He said the city would get $9 million. Number one, the city won't get $9 million because they're going to have to give back mitigation money. There's going to be a cost shift. They're not going to get the prescription drug plans from Canada, which is going to cost millions. They're not going to get the rebates we currently get. And people, when they go to the GIC, will have a choice. And the people that make big money will get the higher plan and pay more than they're paying. So they're going to be paying ultimately more, probably, for the plan. But they don't care because the state's picking up, subsidizing it. And that's all they care about. But let's make something perfectly clear. If they go to the GIC, people will be bankrupted. They will be bankrupted. Because let me explain something. I am, at the present time, getting salary rates for people who work for the city. And unlike Mary Sahadi and all the cronies that he puts in, there are people working in the city that have been working in City Hall for 35 years and only make 20 years, 25 years, and only make $30,000, $34,000. When you go to the GIC, the out-of-pocket expenses, and you did put this in the weekend flush, so I encourage anybody that didn't read CJ's weekend flush to please read it. The out-of-pocket goes from $3,000 for a family to $10,000, $7,000. Do you realize for some people this will be as much as almost 50% of their income when it comes to non-Medicare eligible retirees? 25% of their income, gross income, not net income. People will be bankrupt. We have already had people devastated by the current plan. And you want to, this is what you care about, Mr. Mayor, and you're going to clueless Will Flanagan. The man who didn't even know what plan we were in, and now he said he should have went to the GIC because, Will, you don't even know how much you saved. When we went to the plan we got, you saved $9 million, you dope. You dimwit. That's all you did was walk around with jackets with mayor on it, and you didn't have a clue what was happening in the city. You sat in your own office and watched windows being put in, and you didn't know they were being put in. We still haven't figured out the 22 windows. And this is who Paul Coogan goes to for advice? Well, the two things they have in common is Will Flanagan ran the city into an $8 million deficit, and he ran it into a $5 million deficit by keeping the same idiot that does the books. That's what happened. The same person that is still working, handling the finances that ran the city into an $8 million deficit in 12. Is doing the finances again, and mysteriously, we need money. And the only way to know how to get money is to steal it from the taxpayer. And in addition to stealing it from the taxpayer, now they're going to go back in and take it out of the pocket. This is not lower cost healthcare. It's a cost shift. And they're going to shift millions of dollars to our people. And all those people out there that work in DCM, City Hall, be prepared to lose your house. Because we had a girl named Tracy Wright. I don't know if you remember.
I remember that case.
The city would not back her. The girl worked for 25 years for the city of Fall River and was a very hard worker. Represented them on a health care. The city would throw her under the bus, would not pay for a procedure, wouldn't fight for her. And I had a meeting with Jazel, and Kathy Ann put the kibosh on it because they weren't going to pay. They weren't going to take a chance of having to pay. And that girl had to leave her job after 25 years because she was running out of sick leave, and she would have gone bankrupt. They were going to stop her pay. But in kudos to her, she kept on fighting. She filed appeals. And I told her, keep going. And she ultimately won. She won it. Wouldn't it have been nice if the city stood up for an employee that had worked for this city for peanuts for 25 years? But they didn't. And I just saw and just spoke to another person who's an active employee who lost their house and her future was ruined because her husband got terminal cancer, lost his job, could not work for months and months and months while he was battling cancer, and she makes peanuts. So she lost her house. So Paul Coogan is going to put these people in the city just to get more money for him to urinate down the political trough. Never ever cutting where you need to cut, as you said, CJ, in your flush. Never doing what you have to do to make the government be effective and efficient. No, just keep giving out political jobs. Just keep looking for bids for your friends. Just spend $25 million on this. Go get a parking lot for your buddies downtown. Go do all this stuff while you are jeopardizing the very life of the people who work in this city and don't get the six-figure salaries, don't get the automatic cost of living raises, don't get any of this. And I don't want to hear this crap. Oh, well, you either get it on a bargaining table. No, healthcare is about people. Healthcare is about the children of the young people who are working in this city, who are trying to build a life that you're going to take away from them. You're going to take it away by giving them a $10,000 family out of pocket rather than a $3,000. Do you realize what $7,000 out of the pocket? And then you're going to take the Canadian drug plan away. So people who are getting brand name drugs because they just got put on them are going to go from paying $0 to $165 per prescription. And they're going to pay $800 more to get into a Boston hospital for cancer care, or for orthopedic surgery, or for open heart surgery. This is what you're doing, and I want the public to know. And it's not going to stop on Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm going to write letters to the editor. I'm going to post all the numbers, and I'm going to tell everybody in the city what you're doing. Go talk to Will Flanagan. Maybe you can bump up our deficit from $5 million to $8 million. Let him give you the advice. That nitwit doesn't even know what he did when he was in office. And if he wants me to go on the show, I'll prove it. And every single city councilor in that packet has a copy of the Department of Revenue report they got from Fall River in 2012 that said Fall River realized $8.94 million worth of savings by changing over. You've taken enough out of the pockets of the employees. And I told you this to your face at the meeting. Be prepared, because if you try it, you're not going to make a dime on this plan, because you're going to have to pay mitigation money for the damage you're doing, which is only a short-term fix. And we're stuck in that plan for 3 years. And all the rich people, all your friends, don't care, because they're going to go to the high-end plan. And we're going to pay more for that plan than we're paying for the current plan. And the people who need it the most can't afford the higher care plan, and they're going to have to get that shit plan that makes them pay $10,000 out of pocket and $115 more per prescription. And you're going to say this isn't true? I'll show you the numbers. I'm not Mary Sahadi. I don't make them up as I go along, and they're not my numbers. I've got the printout sheets. I've got the numbers. So if you think I'm infuriated, I am. This is personal to me because I've seen people's lives devastated by this. It's a sad commentary when the mayor of the city of Fall River is looking to hurt city employees by doing this and saying he thinks it's a better plan. Oh, the people in the housing authority like it. Yeah, well, bring them over here. Let me show them that they're paying $115 more per prescription and they're paying $7,000 more than we are out of pocket. And sometimes they have to forego health care or delay health care because of the crap plan that they got. Why do you think 11 communities have gotten out of the GIC and nobody's gotten in 4 years? It's a piece of crap. You think this? Please take over because I'm going to say something that they're going to probably arrest me for. So go ahead.
Well, that's why I wanted to interrupt a little bit. I could see you getting a little infuriated here. Just a little bit, not a lot, just a little. Now, Mary Sahadi a couple of months back started asking Blue Cross Blue Shield for money balances on accounts. I guess that's for incurred but not billed. Is that what it's called?
Incurred but not reported.
Incurred but not reported. Now, what happens if all of a sudden, God forbid, the city does go to GIC? Before they go to GIC, that every single city employee turns around and has elective surgery done, gets all the health care they need done, everything that they need. What happens to that incurred but not reported number? Goes through the roof. And how are they going to afford to pay that?
They can't. They can't. Because, number one, as you said, CJ, the only reason they want to go to the GIC is the only premium plan they can go to without having to put up upfront money to cover, because the state will take it. Because and that's exactly what's going to happen. It happened when we left Master Health Plus. When we left Master Health Plus to go to this plan, our health care plan spiked because everybody got their elective surgeries. Everybody went to the specialist they needed to go to. Everybody got in as much medical. And the thing is, nobody can tell you what we got out there, incurred but not reported. Blue Cross can't tell you that because I know you know this because you're in the healthcare industry. You don't have to, some of these bills, they're allowed up to a year to send in the bills. So we don't know how many incurred but not reported claims are out there. We have no idea. It's an actuarial projection. So we don't know. But what I can guarantee is exactly what you said. That if they say we're going to the GIC effective July 1, the money that's in that incurred but not reported fund, which the city negotiated down, won't come within a mile of covering those bills. And when they go to the GIC, they will have to provide mitigation money for the employees, and they're going to lose money. But they don't care because the premium, they will say, is lower. And all they care about is getting money short term. They don't care what they do to people. But I'm the one that went in a room with Tracy Wright and watched what she had to go through personally. I watched her devastated. A career, 25 years of working for this city. She had to scrap and retire because of health care bills. And it's going to happen a lot more often when we go to a plan that requires astronomical out-of-pockets. What we got is bad enough, but the GIC is crap.
Well, just remember, you're a liability.
That's true.
Right?
As were the DCM workers when they lost their jobs and their livelihoods. Because when you're a bean counter, you don't look at people, you look at the beans. She just counts the beans. All she does is get more money to spend. There's never any attempt to tighten your belt, never any to cut waste, as you said in your article this weekend in the flush. The fact is that you said you hit it right on the head. There's never any attempt to try to save any money for the taxpayer. So now the city employee gets the double whammy. They got a house in Fall River. They got astronomical water and sewer fees. They got 2.5 max tax. They're going to look at a fee for trash pickup again being reinstated. And now they get to pay millions of dollars more out of their pocket for their health care. What a deal. What a deal, Mr. Mayor. You're really taking care of the average person in Fall River. Congratulations. And who do you go to for advice? You go to somebody who has been consistently the common denominator when this city got in financial trouble. That's who you maintain for your CFO. And you go to the mayor, who is the gold standard for creating deficits. $8 million deficit. And a guy who doesn't even know what he had as the mayor. Didn't know he got new windows. Didn't know how much he made with the chef. So I'm going to tell you again, Will, for your show. This is your number, city, DOI. $8.94 million you took out of the pockets of the city employees in 2012. And you said, oh, I should have gone to the GIC. You saved the same amount, you pinhead.
I'm telling you.
A better lawyer than he was a man. As I said, he's the gift that just keeps on giving. Because every time I even question the fact whether we should have, because all of the crap that happened after we threw him out, and some of the things we had. And so what does he do? What does Paul Coogan do? Paul Coogan wants to go to the man that started all this mess for advice. And a man that doesn't even remember what he did because he had no. Kathy Ann Viveros was piloting that Titanic. She was the navigator on the Titanic that Flanagan was on, and she was the architect of all the rest of the stuff we've had for years. As is our present CFO. She was part of the team. That all they ever do was look to spend money, and then ultimately it bites us in the butt. And that's the way it's become. And so you go to them, and what are you looking at now? Screwing the city employees again with health care, possibly bankrupting numerous people. And then you go and look to reinstitute a trash fee that got Sam Sutter bounced out after 1 year. You know, you're doing well. I mean, I think you'd better surround yourself with some people who actually are looking out not only for the city and the taxpayers' benefit, but for your benefit. Because whoever's giving you advice is probably working for the guy that's going to run against you in 2 years or in a year.
And actually, I think that one of the people that's surrounding him has their eye on the 6th floor. So,
yes.
You know, because a statement was made that I overheard that whoever is giving this mayor advice is giving him the advice to make sure that he only has one term. And it truly starting to look like he's only going to have one term. He's not as liked as he thinks he is. He's deluding himself. He thinks he's well. That's the first thing. Secondly, people have to work with him. And department heads, like under Jazel, were afraid. Department heads in the city right now, they're not so much afraid, they're concerned because they don't know what this guy's going to do because he doesn't know what he's doing. And that's the problem. And that just gets worse and worse as days go by. And people want stability. They looked to you not because you were the better candidate, Paul. You were the only candidate. So you were elected by virtue of the fact that you were the only candidate. And that was Jazel's desire. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to take away the opportunity for people to have a choice. And that's why he stayed until after he could be removed from the ballot. so that he took away the choice from the people. So you weren't awarded an overwhelming support. You weren't awarded an overwhelming election. You were awarded the only position that was available. You're a second-rate mayor, elected mayor. Because I'll tell you now, it's getting very difficult for people to understand what you're doing. And until they do, you're just going to be a second-rate mayor to them. You need to make sure, and I'm going to use your words, my administration is transparent. Bull. That's absolute crap. This administration has been as transparent as a cloudy day. It is not transparent. And this is the problem. And because it's not transparent, and people have to find out from people who surround you, your employees, people in your offices, have to turn around and call I or tell us what's going on and what you're doing. That's a shame. That's not good government. That's not good government. It's a government by rumors and by, statements of things that can't be proven. It's scary.
Yeah, you're right, CJ. And like I said, your weekend flush was right on point in all facets. And you did close with the alluding to the healthcare. But if people think I'm really aggressive on this, it's because of the fact that, look, I negotiated for numerous unions I consulted with. I negotiated for firefighters for 24 years. I'm a big boy. I've been at the table. I won most, but I can deal with losing on certain issues. But this is an issue to me that transcends. It's about good and evil. This is evil. Knowingly putting this kind of financial burden on people, and you're not going to tell me that Paul Coogan does not know that there are clerks and para professionals in the school department who make peanuts. And I'm getting those numbers, by the way, because I plan to submit them to the school committee and to of all the people in this city who make fairly low incomes. But this is a personal thing. If you think I'm taking it personally, I am. I have seen the devastation that poor healthcare. And I think it's a travesty that in a state where we're going to give free healthcare to illegals, we give free healthcare to people who don't work, won't work, don't want to work. We'll give them drugs. We'll give them Narcan. We'll give them free healthcare. But you take people who go to work 40 hours every week, and you want to balance the budget on their back. I have seen the human toll, the suffering that this causes. I had to stand and watch that woman who's losing her husband also lose her bank account and her house with what we got. And you want to make it twice as bad. I had to watch and sit in a room because I fought for Tracy, and Tracy will tell you that. And I got a good mind to bring Tracy in front of the council. If this ever hits, I'm going to tell you. Well, go talk to Flanagan. Go talk to a guy that doesn't even remember what health care plan he had, doesn't remember they put windows in his office, and doesn't remember how much he made on the plan we got now. Because I'll tell you what, I look forward to sitting in front of a mock mediator and showing them.
Well, Chip, it looks like our time is up. Thanks for all that information. It's very helpful, and I'm sure we'll be talking more about it as time comes. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for inviting us into your home. Remember, stay safe and stay angry.
And do